What's up YouTube, it's your boy Rhett back at it again with another video. Today I'm doing the Bitcoin exchange review to end all Bitcoin exchange reviews. There will be something here for everyone. Easy exchanges, low fee exchanges, no KYC exchanges allegedly. Today we're doing it all. Quick note, we actually don't have something for everyone because there are no decentralized exchanges here. These are all centralized exchanges. I am pretty much only interested in Bitcoin, so if you're super into Ethereum and all of these crazy decentralized exchanges, that's great. Not gonna be in this video though. If there is enough interest, maybe I can look into something like that. I tend to stay away from all of the DeFi stuff because I see it as a huge waste of gas fees. And I think when you're exchanging assets in and out like that, it just becomes a big tax headache to keep track of all of that. So if you watch the end of the video, hopefully we're gonna find the perfect exchange for you. And then down in the description, I will have a link to every exchange that we talk about in this video. Some of those will be affiliate links, some of those will be regular links. Just take a look at the description on the link before you click it. If you don't want an affiliate link, that's totally fine. You're free to Google any of these exchanges and go to them yourself. Also, for the exchanges that I really like and that I've already talked about on the channel, I'll have links down there to those videos in case you want to get more information about any of those individual exchanges. Smash the like button and let's get into it. So here we have a graph over on the iPad. We have hard to use on the left, easy to use on the right, and then low fees at the top, high fees at the bottom. Ideally, we're going to want exchanges that are up in this first quadrant here that have low fees and are easy to use. So let's get started here with Binance. Binance has very low fees, but it is not very easy to use. I've used it before. I recently had to close my Binance account because I was signed up on the international one. Binance, really hard to use, but really great fees. Binance has 0.1% fees on their orders, and they're only 0.75 if you pay with the BNB Binance token. So that's a nice little benefit for anyone that's holding that token. Good way for Binance to incentivize people to hold the token so that they get lower fees. Okay, for this next exchange, we have BlockFi. BlockFi is allegedly zero fees, but it's not actually zero fees. If you go into BlockFi and you try to exchange money, they're actually going to charge you, I've seen about 1% on the price of the Bitcoin itself. So the price that you see on the screen is the price that you're going to get as an exchange rate, but that exchange rate is about 1% higher than a Binance or a Coinbase Pro or a Gemini, one of these more competitive exchanges. So just know that BlockFi is not actually zero fees. It's about 1% fee, but it is very easy to use. So BlockFi is gonna go over here somewhere. Next exchange is going to be Cash App, the motherfucking Cash App, according to Joe Rogan. Cash App is one of the easiest exchanges to use, but their fees are not very good. So Cash App's fees are around 2% for most orders, and then that fee scales as you buy more and more Bitcoin on their platform, and they're not very transparent about exactly what the fee is, so it's going to depend with the amount that you're going to be buying. I've seen estimates that when you buy $10,000 of Bitcoin on Cash App, which I don't, hopefully nobody is doing that, your fee is around 1%. So I'm gonna put them just a little bit north of 2%, but for most people, I think their fee is gonna be around 2%. All right, so next we have Coinbase, very popular exchange. Coinbase is gonna go around here, similar to Cash App and BlockFi. Coinbase is actually not super transparent with their fee structure either. I've seen things that say that it's around 1%, and then I've seen people say that their fee is around 3%. I don't really see them as too different than Cash App, so I'm gonna leave them in that sort of general area. I think Cash App's UI is a little bit better. Next we have Coinbase Pro, the free alternative to Coinbase. Used to be called GDAX. It is their trading platform. It is a little bit less easy to use than Coinbase, but I do think that for these sort of trading platform situations, I think Coinbase Pro is a lot easier to use than Binance. The fees, however, are not as good as Binance's fees or as we'll see some of the other exchanges later, but Coinbase Pro is a little bit easier to use, I think. So I'm gonna put it around here. It does have 0.5% fee structure. Okay, next up we have EToro. I used EToro once. The UI is pretty good. It is, however, impossible to withdraw your coins when you are in America. I think it is possible to withdraw your coins in the UK and in Australia with eToro's app, but I don't think that app is available in America, and for me, that makes eToro pretty much useless. I would count that as like more than a 3% fee. That's like the worst situation possible. So very easy to use, but borderline useless, I think, because you can't withdraw your coins. And obviously not your keys, not your coins. So stay away from eToro for sure. Anything really that's down in this area, you're gonna want to avoid. All right, next up we have FTX. FTX recently partnered with Tom Brady and Giselle, which makes it the GOAT of all exchanges. The fees are really low though. They are 0.1% fees, and the UI is about average, maybe a little worse than average. I'd say better user experience than Binance, and then the same fee. Binance's fee structure is actually a little bit better. Binance should be slightly higher than everything else at this level. So maybe we'll put FTX like down here a little bit, and you'll just know that Binance is a little bit better. So FTX is gonna go around here. All right, the next exchange is my favorite exchange, Gemini. We're gonna go over 3 different use cases of Gemini here. The first use case of Gemini is gonna be Gemini Mobile. Gemini Mobile is very easy to use, but it has horrible fees. It's not quite as bad as eToro, which I think is like not worth using because you don't even get to own the coins. eToro should really be like off the grid. Gemini's fees are also really horrible if you use the mobile app. You might end up paying anywhere between like 1.5 and actually 10% fees on really small orders. So overall, I'd say definitely stay away from Gemini mobile app. All right, the next Gemini that we're gonna look at is gonna be Gemini Active Trader. Gemini Active Trader is sort of like the Coinbase Pro of Gemini, and Gemini Active Trader actually has 0.35% fees, about as easy to use as Coinbase Pro, but a little bit better fees, and this is called Active Trader. And then finally, the third Gemini strategy, the one that I like the most, is Gemini's API functionality. And I've made a video detailing how you can use Gemini's API without having to write any of the code yourself, and I'll link that video up in the cards up here. If you do follow that strategy, I think it is really easy to use, and it does have the best fee of any exchange. So this would actually even be higher than Binance. Let's bring Binance down a little bit, bring FTX down a little bit, and we'll put Gemini up here. If you know how to code, it's even easier to use. If not, maybe it would be over here. It's not as easy as Active Trader for sure, but the fees are a lot better. Yeah, so that Gemini API strategy, definitely the lowest fees of any exchange. You're getting that 0.1% buy fee, and then you are getting 10 free transfers a month, which none of these other exchanges really give you. And so if you are looking for the best fee structure of any exchange, it's gonna be this Gemini API strategy for sure. Next exchange is gonna be KuCoin. I used KuCoin back in 2017, very dark times. I was trying to chase all of these altcoins that were exploding at 1,000%, and I lost like a couple $100 because I invested in a bunch of dog tokens that are not worth anything. And that's a good reason not to invest in dog tokens that you don't understand. Not everything is going to be the future of finance, and so you should stay away from bull like that. KuCoin, very difficult to use. I included it in this list though because it claims to be no KYC, so you don't need to do any know your customer stuff to join KuCoin. I think that that's a little bit sketchy, and your mileage may vary based on your jurisdiction about whether or not it actually is no KYC, but definitely check it out if you are looking for a no KYC exchange. I found KuCoin very difficult to use, but they do have pretty good fees. I think they are also at the 0.1% tier. They do have just a horrible user experience though, from my perspective, using them a few years ago. Okay, next we have Kraken. Kraken is one of the oldest exchanges, and it has a great fee structure just like Binance and FTX. So it is at the same level as FTX here. And I would say it's about as easy to use as FTX also. So you can just pretend that Kraken and FTX are in the same place here. And then the next exchange here, OKCoin, very similar to Kraken and FTX, available in lots of jurisdictions if you're unable to get onto any of these other exchanges. OKCoin is the favorite exchange of very popular Bitcoiner Safety and Amos. I'm probably butchering his name, but he wrote the Bitcoin standard and he recommends OKCoin. Really great exchange, right up there with Kraken and FTX on the 0.1% fees, and it's available in loads of jurisdictions. One jurisdiction it's actually not available in is Texas, so I'm actually unable to use OKCoin, but I've heard that it's really great. All right, next up we have PayPal. PayPal, I don't really think it's that easy to use. I've used PayPal before, even before it was doing crypto. I don't really think it has great user experience. And as of now, I don't think that you can withdraw your Bitcoin from PayPal either. So another reason not to use PayPal. And if you can't withdraw your Bitcoin from PayPal, that makes it all the way down here equivalent to eToro, really not worth using. There were blog articles that came out recently that said PayPal was going to let you withdraw your Bitcoin soon. I went into PayPal to see if there was any documentation on that on their website. I saw absolutely nothing. So I'm assuming that it hasn't been rolled out yet. When it does does get rolled out, they'll move up from down here to a little bit higher. But right now I think friends don't let friends buy Bitcoin on PayPal. Next up is Robinhood. They are eToro tier. They're probably the easiest thing to use. Everyone already has it installed on their phones, but also garbage. You can't withdraw your Bitcoins from Robinhood, so they're borderline not worth using. If you do want to speculate on the price, that's probably the only valid use case for buying Bitcoin on Robinhood. I would stay as far away as possible, and I made a video about that last week. Definitely go check that out if you're wondering what you should and should not be using Robinhood for, because there are definitely use cases of Robinhood that make it really, really great. Buying Bitcoin is not one of those use cases. The next exchange here is going to be Strike. Strike is a very, very interesting option. They're releasing a feature soon called the Bitcoin tab, which I did a video on recently that I'll link up in the cards and then also down in the description with all the other links. That is going to take their fees between 0.1 and 0.3%. So it's going to be up here, but Strike is also very, very easy to use, which sort of puts them in a class of their own. The fees are not quite as good as the Gemini API, but they're so much easier to use, and they're way, way, way more competitive fees than all of this down here. All of these other exchanges that are super easy to use have horrible fees compared to Strike. And so that makes Strike a really, really attractive option. And when they release that Bitcoin tab, I think everyone that's currently using these really easy options is going to migrate over to Strike. So if you do want to learn more about Strike, definitely go check out that video. They are definitely an outlier in this whole space, and it's going to be really exciting to see what they can do with their app and whatever else they choose to get into as a business. The founder and the whole project, very pro Bitcoin, and it's probably the most exciting company in the space. And then even before they release their Bitcoin tab, there is another strategy that you could use with Strike by sending your Bitcoin to the Lightning Network. That would also be a very low fee situation, and also, still very easy to use. So even in their current iteration, Strike is a really great app, and it's giving you very competitive fees with these other sort of legacy exchanges. Next up is Swan Bitcoin. Swan Bitcoin, another very interesting company in the space, another Bitcoin only company. They market themselves as having better fees than Cash App and Coinbase, and they are very easy to use, and they will take care of dollar cost averaging for you. Unfortunately, their fees are not great. They're probably they're between like BlockFi and Coinbase level fees. They're around here. So Swan is somewhere in this area. It's a really good option for people that don't want to get into managing a bunch of accounts. I think about if I was to onboard my parents into Bitcoin, this would be something that they would really enjoy. It's something that they don't really have to manage. Swan comes with its own two-factor authentication system, so that's another thing that they don't have to really worry about. You sign in with your email, and then they automate your purchasing schedule, and they create a transfer schedule for you, which is something that the Gemini API strategy does really well, but obviously the Swan strategy is just higher fees and easier to use. So definitely a good option. And then the final option here is going to be Venmo. Venmo, basically exactly the same as PayPal, a little bit easier to use, but not really worth using. They're probably closer to like Gemini Mobile, which Gemini Mobile, we're actually giving it sort of a bad rap by sticking it all the way down there. Gemini Mobile is not good, but it's not nearly as bad as these four right here. These four are really horrible because they don't even let you take custody of your coins. So I would much rather pay a 10% fee on my coins at Gemini Mobile, which is horrible. No one should be paying 10% for Bitcoin, but over here, it's worse. You really want to avoid these platforms if you can. eToro is maybe the exception. If you live in a jurisdiction where they allow you to withdraw your Bitcoin, then maybe they should rank a little bit higher. I think their withdrawal fees are 0.5, so maybe they end up somewhere around here if they do allow you to withdraw your Bitcoin. eToro would end up here, so they'd actually be a pretty decent option. Unfortunately, in the United States, they don't allow you to withdraw your Bitcoin, which makes them totally not worth using, just like Venmo, PayPal, and Robinhood. So here's basically the whole list. We actually didn't have any that were hard to use and had high fees, so that's good. Again, these four you really want to avoid. If you are going to use Gemini, I'd really suggest that you avoid mobile and that you at least go to Active Trader, which you can enable in the settings on desktop, and take advantage of those 0.35% fees. And then what you really should do is check out my Gemini API video, which even if you don't know how to code at all, it's basically just copy paste. And so this should actually even be maybe further over here. It is really easy to do. You're just copying and pasting code and then generating your API keys and going over to AWS and automating it. This is the only method that I'm currently using, and and it is the cheapest method. If we wanted to put some differentiation up here, you know, these would probably be a little bit lower. These are all 0.1% with transfer fees. Gemini API, 0.1%, no transfer fees, makes it a lot better. But then Strike, obviously big outlier up here. If you're not using Strike, if you've never heard of Strike, if you're currently using BlockFi, Swan, Coinbase, or Cash App, you can save a lot of money if you just go download Strike and you do all your Bitcoin purchases on Strike. And that's going to be especially true when they roll out their Bitcoin tab feature, which I'll have a link down in the description if you want to sign up for the waitlist for that feature. That's what's going to allow you to get these really great fees up here. I think even in the current iteration of Strike, you're going to be saving a lot of money over Coinbase and Cash App and Swan and BlockFi. So definitely do make that switch, really, if you're using any of these down here. And then even if you're using Coinbase Pro, there's not really a reason to be using Coinbase Pro anymore. After Strike releases their new Bitcoin tab feature, it's going to eat that. It should even eat this Gemini active trader strategy. After this feature is released, really the only thing you should be using is this or Gemini API or any of these sort of legacy exchanges with really good fee structures. So that's Kraken, OKCoin, FTX, Binance. And then KuCoin, I think I'm definitely never going to use it again, but if it satisfies your KYC requirements, maybe that would be a reason that you would use KuCoin. So I hope this video was really helpful. Again, if you do want any links to more information, either a video about one of these exchanges in depth, all of that will be in the description, or if you just want to go sign up for any of these exchanges yourself, definitely check out the description. All that information should be there for you. If you do have any questions that I didn't really address in this video, feel free to leave those in the comments down below. I do still respond to all the comments. Like the video if you learned something. This was really fun to put together. It really solidified for me how good Strike is as an exchange and sort of how garbage all of these other ones down here are. There's really no reason to be paying over 1% in fees for your Bitcoin at this point in 2021. And there's definitely no reason to be using PayPal, Venmo, eToro, or Robinhood where you can't even withdraw your coins. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for new videos every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I love you all. Goodbye.